We now have a tropical depression here in the Philippine Sea, just around Yap and Palau as it moves off here towards the north and west. Pagasa, not upgraded as of recording this, but I wouldn't be surprised, maybe by the time you're watching this, they do have this as a named TD. JMA has also labeled it as a tropical depression. Look at satellite imagery, plenty of convection flaring up around this, plus good outflow aloft towards the north, giving this lungs to breathe as it moves over an area where the sea surface temperatures are basically hot tub water out here. Definitely plenty of energy for this to continue to strengthen over the next several days. So there's plenty of impacts to be had with this storm. Let's break this down. Before I get into this though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on these videos. That way we can get this information out to many more people, and it helps a long way into making these updates possible. So first off, looking at the ECMW guidance in the forecast here, hour starting on our Thursday, as this moves off towards the north and west. This is local time in the Philippines. Got this storm just off the coast of Samar and Leyte, bringing much needed beneficial rainfall here on Friday to some of these coastal areas. So at least there's the good news there. But by this point, we can actually have a tropical storm. Now, if that does happen, we're talking about those windy conditions here along the immediate coast. If it stays offshore, though, some areas, once you get to the west coast of the islands of Samar, Leyte, over towards Cebu, really, you're probably not going to feel much impacts at all outside of some passing beneficial rainfall at the very least. And then we see this move off towards the north and west, just continuing to skirt the coastline. The Sierra Madre Mountains acting like a wall here, keeping some of the worst impacts from moving on shore. But like I mentioned, even if this edges just a little bit further west, that definitely could change the forecast for places like Manila all across Region 2. And then it pulls off towards north, and based on the ECMWF, we could have a typhoon south of Okinawa as it gets tied up with the rainy season front. But look at this. Look at that enhanced flow on the back side of our storm system. That could be ushering in some as well beneficial rainfall, but heavy rain at times from Region 1 all the way down towards Palawan into parts of Visayas. And then we take a look at the track here. This is my analysis, not an official analysis, but basically looking ahead at that forecast with Invest 93W, now a tropical depression according to JMA as it moves off towards the north and west, making that trend towards the north. But I'm keeping the possible landfall, especially here in southeastern Luzon, over towards Samar, in the cards here. Catanduanes as well, as it just kind of skirts the coast and then turns off there towards the north. This is the guidance from the GFS, our spaghetti plots. Look at some of these models kind of stray it further towards the west. The general consensus is that northerly projection and that churn off towards the north, which climatology also kind of plays into that as well. So you know what, there is still a avenue, a threshold here that this could still come on shore. By the way, I'm making this forecast here on morning, and no official track has been put out yet. So this is all my analysis too, based on all the guidance in 20 years of forecasting in this corner of the world. All right, so let's zoom right in, hour by hour, high resolution here, graphics courtesy of Metro Weather's Weatherscape, center of circulation just offshore of Samar here. There's Tacloban, of course, seeing the rainfall Saturday morning as it edges the north, getting Legazpi in there through Saturday afternoon in the mix. Got those winds kicking on shore. Then we're talking about a little bit further towards the north, some of the islands here along the coast. Manila, even that chance of some thunderstorms as it wraps on around. But I think the mountains here, the southern Sierra Madre Mountains extending back towards north, kind of acting like a wall here. And you really see that even here as we go ahead into Monday, just slamming in with that heavy precip. Cagayan Valley still could look at some precip as well, but as long as it stays just offshore, I think the worst of the weather will avoid some of those areas here, and you can kind of get a better grasp with our rainfall accumulation. The areas in green indicating upwards of 100 millimeters of total precip as this edges off towards the north, with that heaviest of the rainfall staying out here. But still, you know, some pretty decent rain, beneficial rain for our friends further towards the south. That's based on the current accumulation, though. Like I said, if this edges further towards the west, of course that forecast will change. If it edges east, it will change too, in the sense that it will, the worst of the weather will be well offshore. if you're a surfer right now, watch out for those rip currents. But our friends out in Shargal probably getting some pretty decent waves out there on the reef. And then we put further towards the north as it scoots along, saw waves upwards of 2 to maybe an 8-9 meters, well offshore. Oof, rough surf out there. All right, so before the arrival of the storm system, know your information from official sources. You're already part of the solution here. You're watching this video, and I'm sure you get information from other sources. But I'm a YouTuber. I do work on TV myself, but these updates are made in my spare bedroom, and so are a lot of the other YouTubers out there. So I can tell you, check out the information of my intro video. I am an accredited, qualified meteorologist specializing in studying the Philippines and Japan, but not everybody is. So make sure you know what the sources you're getting your information from, and make sure you help out those people that might not be aware of this storm. Check and prepare. Have a go bag ready to go. That's something that you could do now, and if you don't use it for this storm, which hopefully you don't, it'll always be available there for you. Just having a plan ready to go with these type of storm systems. Here's another look at the broader view of our ECMWF guidance. I think some of the biggest impacts will be Samar over towards Legazpi as this moves along. But yeah, plenty of impacts here as the storm moves ahead. This is really picking up on the Philippine Sea effect off the coast of Luzon too. And that always worries me when we see a storm's tightening up like we have right now, is that quite often the models do not show the intensity correctly. So if this stays offshore long enough, it could start to intensify quickly, which is why I want to make multiple updates here on the every day just to keep you guys posted. Tacloban on Friday, looking at that rainfall as our moisture surges on shore. Relatively drier into Luzon, still isolated showers, but on Friday, still going to be relatively dry. Your rain is really going to pick up, especially on Sunday as it starts to kick along and moves off into your direction. So still want to continue to monitor this over the upcoming days. One of the main questions to be had, if we're going to talk more of dynamics, is our high pressure ridge right in here, and how our front towards the north could break down that ridge, allowing it to turn. That ridge has been in control. That's the reason why it's so terribly dry across the southern half of the Philippines, because it's been in there. So that's why I've been kind of leaning towards, I think this is going to make a westward trend on that track. But none of the guidance really is really strong on that idea, but I think it's a possibility. So Tacloban, Thursday and Friday, you got some rain with light winds in your forecast, so beneficial rain. I know it's been exceptionally dry out here for our friends into eastern Visayas here, northeastern Mindanao, Siargao. Surfers out there happy about it. The surf, but you are going to get some rain. Then it'll start to clear out by Monday as this moves off towards the north. Baguio, rain showers going to be kicking up and heading the next week on the back side of our storm. That's moisture is going to move in. Same for places like Manila, off towards Pangasinan, Subic Bay. You're all going to be kind of on the back side of that moisture flow. While some also is in the forecast for our friend here in Cebu as well in central Visayas. Temperatures into the high 30s. Let's scoot further north into Okinawa. The storm should stay towards your south, but you're still contending with the rainy season front, that Mayu Bayo front. Rainy season officially started actually last week into, and that forecast really says so. All right. Big thanks for everybody on Patreon to continue to support this channel. Like I said earlier, like and subscribe. But if you really want to, if you're watching this video, you're like, in a spare bedroom, yeah, all this stuff is just from that. And you want to support, make these updates better, check out the Patreon link. We got some people extra mega super typhoons who donate more than $10 a month, but that is a threshold 6 or even 2. And I always save this for the end of the update because I don't like putting this in front of the important, vital information, but I do want to put it out there and say a massive thanks to everybody that does support this channel, that does help out, and does make these updates possible on a daily basis. So a big shout out to everybody. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please let me know. And number one thing, of course, as always, is stay safe out there, friends. I'll keep you guys posted.